Send Help, the brand new Sam Raimi film. Of course, Sam Raimi, who directed the original Spider-Man films, Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell, Quick of the Dead, um, Oz and the Great and Powerful, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So anytime his name pops up, hair starts to spikes. You may say our spidey senses start to tingle when he is announced he's directing something. And what this film is a really well done horror comedy. It's a dark horror film with a lot of humor in there. Because the whole concept of this movie and what drives this movie and what makes it work is our main two characters and the journey of, like, the thing is with characters is like everyone needs a story arc, or your main character needs to change after the film where, the asshole becomes less of an asshole, selfish person becomes less selfish. Or this case, okay, decent human being turns into a sociopath. Or maybe they always were a sociopath. I don't know. Because what you have is you got Rachel Adams' character, Lily, who is who works at a desk. She seems to be a decent, okay person. She just has a hard time clicking with anyone in the office. Just people don't understand her humor, or she keeps making mistakes, like not feeling the bit of tuna fish on the side of her face, or her not being valued as much as she believes she does. Is trapped on an island with her brand new boss, who is nothing but a complete asshole. Like, he is like doing the worst of, like, when you think like an asshole boss is, he's kind of the recommendation of it. And they're both trapped on an island after a plane wreck, and the two of them need to work together. But slowly, what's happening is these two characters start to change. They're basically becoming the each other. The boss is becoming the more decent person. Lily is turning into this survivalist. I don't want to leave the island because the boss wants to leave the island, but Lily's like, no, I'm comfortable here. This is my calling, and like the weirdest thing in my head, I was like, couldn't she just not, like, if she really wants to stay on the island, would it make more sense to just let her boss leave? But maybe the idea, like, hey, I'm a social creature, and maybe this is how we're, meant to be, and all that. And you're just seeing these two characters bicker, and it's like bicker and despair, and then slowly wanting to kill each other, and desperations, and how far Lily can go to make sure that they both don't leave the island, or at least he doesn't leave the island. Like, there's all these desperation things, and her having so much knowledge on survival skills. It just gives you a sense of, you don't know what she's going to do next. You just don't know what she's going to do next. And it's kind of a really fun train wreck to watch. And, like, there's a moment in this movie halfway through when these two characters are in a fire at a fire, at night, and they're having some dinner, and and they both bond, and she tells the story about her husband, and you're thinking, oh, this is a fun, a good emotional scene, really well acted scene from Rachel Adams. But also at the same time, you started to question, is she telling the truth? Is what happened really what happened? How much of a sociopath is she really is? How much of I get what I want realistically. I'm just really good at emphasizing myself. Um, it just the journey of despair. It's just you're just like, oh my god, how far is she willing to go? How far will she go? And it makes the train wreck of her dipping down to madness pretty like a really well done watch. Pretty well done um journey to watch. And yes, there's some horror in there. There's a sprinkle of like an Evil Dead feel, where there's a jump scare dealing with two dead bodies, and there's a jump scare dealing with the warhog, and there's jump scares where you think there isn't enough jump scare, and it kind of does give you a sense of like, yeah, this is the same guy. It gives you the feel of like, yeah, this is the same guy who did Evil Dead 2. That's what this movie reminds me of. Evil Dead 2. Because how Evil Dead, or maybe a little bit Army of Darkness, where there's humor. This is a lighthearted, messed up of a movie, but at the same time, there's a plenty of jump scares for people who want their horror, and of it. And even Daniel O'Brien, who of course plays the boss, and him becoming quite submissive, and his desperation to get off the island, and how far he's willing to take to go on that path. And when we get the final fight, it's really like it's something to a whole. There's something to a whole. Now the ending itself, they try to give you a sense of like, holy crap, this is like now Lily is this. But I kind of wanted to see her. Spoiler: she gets off the island. But I kind of wanted to see how she got off the island and what she told people, and like that's all I kind of want to do. I wanted them to maybe fill out the gaps, because when it ended, or have the final scene that ends, it kind of just felt like they kind of jumped a little bit. But anyway, this is a solid movie, a really solid movie. Actually, this is maybe the first movie I would recommend people to go see in theaters. So, if you've seen the movie, comment below and let me know your thoughts.